apologize. We lost the signal or something happened. But now that we've talked about charging and cleansing, let's talk about creating space for self care. So when you started to create the space and create the atmosphere and positive vibes to do the self healing and self care, were there any obstacles or barriers to getting that started?
There is. I personally feel when you start your self-care, self-healing journey, a lot of things that are not in a lot of people that are not of your greater good cannot come with you. You cannot take them on your journey. It's dead weight. It's a lot of dead weight you got to cut. It's a lot of behavior you got to cut. It's a lot of negative thinking you got to cut. Like, you essentially have to change your life around. So change, that's big, that's scary for me. And I fought that for a long time. So I feel like the obstacles I put in front of myself because I didn't want to do anything different. When I'm good and it's comfortable, I'm good. So I think that would be it. The changes, the abrupt changes, and it change is scary. And especially a spiritual change, like being awakened and aware and to be able to see and feel on a deeper level. And just going into that, no guidance, it's that I think that is the challenge for people finding safe spaces, people they can trust, people, they can be
like
free with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You say a lot right there, and to be that transparent, to say that some of that came back, some of the challenge wasn't from outside of you, it came from within, the conflict, the not being sure, the certainties. Yeah. So, I mean, not everybody's willing to acknowledge that. And so I appreciate you for doing that on this platform.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
All right. So, all right, along the business journey, there's got to be milestones. There's the good, there's the bad, there's the ugly. But let's talk about the good. Let's focus there really for a minute. What is some of the feedback? What are some of the moments and the experiences you've had with your customers and even with your friends and family as you've gone through this journey?
Well, my family, like, they're really, really proud of me. When I was first going to open a spiritual store in this mall, I didn't know how the community would take it. I'm not from Columbus. I'm from Akron, Ohio. So everyone down here that like loves and supports me and like rides out with me, they literally met from the business. Okay. So like when people say, and this is like kind of this is one of the good things, that business only grow because of popularity, like I can attest that that is not true. Not a soul knew me in this city until I started Metaphysical Melanin. And that the business itself is what people don't care about me. They care about the products, like that's their focus. So I appreciate that. And the fact that like people come in here and they're like, it feels good. It smells good. I was having a bad day and now I feel better. That people know that this is just for them. Like, this is a safe space. Nothing's going to happen to you in here. Like, you're divinely protected in my sanctuary, and I make sure of it, So that in itself, I think that's the greatest thing, to be able to like essentially help people change their life, to just be that connecting piece that I needed a place like this. I needed somebody to talk to about this, Right. That's the joy in the work.
Wow, and enjoy it is. I've heard, like I said, I've been sitting here for a while with you before we started this interview, and just to hear the way you interact with people and just to hear, the questions that they have, and they feel comfortable in this space to ask questions and get information when they don't know. Yeah. And that says a whole lot, because not everybody's willing to ask questions when they don't know something at all. So that speaks a lot to the authentic relationship you have and that you've created here in Columbus, even though this isn't where you're from.
Thank you.
And yes, Akron.
Yes.
I did not know that you were from Akron.
Yes, ma'am.
So looking ahead, I always like to ask about passion and purpose and plan. And I know we talked a bit about the purpose of the products and helping people self-love and self-care. But ultimately, what are the plans for the future, if you have any that you can share with us here?
Well, I essentially plan to have a Metaphysical Melanin in every mall, like every mall. So like that's the end goal. I'm really like the end goal. I don't have children yet, so I'm like setting this up for the next 7 generations. Like I'm healing my 7 back for my 7 forward. Like my family, like they won't have to beg anybody for a job. Like I'm an employer, like, and that's amazing to say, So, I'm like doing this for the future. What it looks like in the future is like my family being financially set and stable and have a legacy.
Yes, the legacy is so important. A lot of people get short-sighted in business, and it's like about the here and the now, the right now, and it's not about what's going to happen, like you said, 7 years down the road. That's a while off, but still to think about that and to shift your thinking and have that change in thought, that's a beautiful thing. And hopefully more people will see, you and others who are in business doing this and shifting that thinking, and we'll start to kind of shift that same way as well.
For sure.
It has a community impact.
For sure. Because, and I tell people all the time, like I'm setting this up for my children I don't have yet. So when they are born I don't have to heal and grow, and like I can be what they need. And we got this set up. Like the generational wealth is there. You don't have to go do all that in the streets. You know what I mean? You have your own everything. Like, and my children are going to be free to be themselves. Like growing up, I could not show that I practice African spirituality at home because I couldn't, and I definitely couldn't be at work saying I practice African spirituality. So for like my children and their children, like that it's going to be okay to be who you are. Like I'm doing this. I started my like loud and proud with what I do 5 years ago because I wasn't comfortable enough to say, I'm not like everybody else, so they're going to be comfortable, with being themselves from the gate. So.
And I appreciate you sharing that as well. Was there, you said at home and then out in public, you couldn't announce that? Were there some things, barriers or people or, any rules that were in the way that kept you from being able to share that, or just that?
I think people's ignorance kept me from seeing that. When people hear African spirituality, they think devil worshiper, and there is no devil in African spirituality. So I don't even know what you're talking about. But that's like a whole conversation for a whole different day. But it just wasn't, you were Black and Christian, period. You know what I mean? So.
For lack of a better word, it was very black and white. Black and Christian, you just weren't.
Or you were a devil worshiper, like essentially. But now, like, people are free to be in the nation and practice Islam, and people are more free and open to be themselves now and to practice what they want to practice and be who they want to be.
Absolutely,
and be open about that. So
hopefully, this movement will continue, and more people will become comfortable to be themselves. That is ultimately the goal, especially. Yes. Okay, so let's see. I want to make sure to give you the space to share anything that you feel is ultimately important to share with anyone who may be listening, who maybe is considering going into business themselves or sharing something about themselves with respect to their spirituality. What would you share with someone who is ready to take another step in their life?
If as far as going into business, I am not a business person. Let me say that. My degree is in early childhood education, and I am doing this. So if I can do it, you can do it. That's first and foremost. I didn't know anything about running a business. I'm literally learning as I go, and it's working. So do it, whatever it takes, and however long it takes, and just do it. Like I would say that don't leave any room for doubt. That's where a lot of people mess with their manifestations, is the doubt in your mind. I always tell people, you are literally your only limitation, like your mind. So like, if you don't leave any room for doubt and say, this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to get it done, you will get it done. And everything else will be moved out of your way. Just stay focused.
Like you said, that transition and change, not everything can come.
Yeah, so. Like, and that was not me. That is growth. So
thank goodness for growth, because we all got some growing to do, and we've done some too.
Yes.
So I want to go ahead. I want to make sure that anybody who's been watching or listening, who maybe isn't in Columbus, but maybe wants to go online and purchase products, and even if they do want to make the trip down here and come visit in the store in Eastland Mall, they can totally come and do that.
Please do.
But let's talk social media handles, websites, all that good stuff.
Okay, our website is metaphysicalmelanin.org. We're on Facebook, Metaphysical Melanin LLC, and we're on Instagram, Metaphysical Melanin. And we're starting a TikTok and a Twitter, but we don't have it yet, but we're going to get one. Yes. We're also hiring for. We're really growing, and we
be sure to share this information. Somebody can benefit, the community can benefit. And again, doing most media is about supporting Black-owned businesses as a lifestyle and not a trend. Thank you again so much for joining us. And I know it's been crazy getting to this point.
Thank you. Yes, and we work for the people here.
Yes, y'all do.
We work for the people here. So, thank you.
All right, y'all, come and visit her in the shop soon. And thank y'all for tuning in this evening. And I will make sure to post all of the information so you can get in contact and get your self-care products.